and he's highly esteemed in his native country of Cambodia, and we are very pleased and proud to welcome, please, Kong Nai.
Cùng này cái nhầm bát xôm cổ rục với nhiều kết thì vô cơ xôm cổ rục mẹ cổ rú có môi dục chân đa krong ca nghe tu rồi tu phi thì ăn có miên vật miên nó tì nhìn đá tam khi ông đập số sống lên cho không mùi sòng xanh quanh chơi một đại ban chuộc bài không mùi bèn prom tăng mai hỏi bèn nắng cao vì muốn riêng cho bay thằng ngày ní cái nhầm bát miên kết dụng một tà nạp hiệp của phung thay thà laប្របីមានភពវាសនាដែលមកពីកម្ពុជាមកដល់ញូវយ៉កពេលនេះសូមស្វាគមន៍ឲ្យលោកស្រីក៏សល់វ៉ាគង់នៃខ្ញុំសូមស្វាគមន៍ហើយជូនពរជ័យដល់ពីយោកិត្តិយសអស់លោកនិងលោកស្រីសូមប្រកបបាយជោគជ័យបានសុខសួស្តីគ្រប់ពេលវេលាអីប្រកបជោគជ័យបានសុខសួស្តីគ្រប់ពេលវេលាជ ចិត្តអូនទៅថ្ងៃនេះហើយមានមែគេចិត្តបងสนองวันเองโอนาถ้าไม่ปรำหมดอ่อนโยยำแต่บอกมาดองเก่งเจ้าเบาลวนลองเมียงบองเรียกไตรยุกเชื่อหายชมเอ้ยชมชายาโดยประกายประกายบองนักอะไรใครเมียสนับเดิมส่งอ้อยเมียงนวลนะนัดอาโซดอยจักชอบตรลงกันตุกโตมเชเรขเมียนทเวปัดนายังมันจะเกิดระเบียบปุกบ่ายสรมตักตรายาตักปรองตรอมนวายสมกกเขียมุยปดายาฮาตรอมนวายสมกกอย่ามวยปะไดยังต่อเติมขยมสมชิมรีบปีจะไปดองเวงเอาบอกอย่างนี้จะไปนังเบอร์สันเชียงยิงปีประวัติจะไปได้ชูมาดอลประเทศกองไปเชียยืงคือนกองกวดได้เกิดหลังคือจะไปนั่งชูมาดอลให้นั่งขยมสมชิมรีบได้ท่าจะไปชูมาดอลประเทศขมายป้อนแต่มุ่นจะไปจ้องชิมรีบออกลูกท่าจะไปนั่งว่าเกิดเติมน้ำบ่ตามลูกครูขยมปัญญาขยมถักก็จังปีมุ่นบ่องปางแต่เชื่อพระพุทธแต่พระองค์เถอตุกระเกริยาดอลแต่อดเสียงหันบุสโกมเปย์ปะอันก็ลุกโยกปิ้นหมกดิงถ้วยเชื่อปัสนาออยปะอังลูกกึศปิ้นนั้นคือใส่ใบใส่มุ้ยรึกเต๋อเวตั้งเป๊กแบบใดใส่ตีปีทูเป๊กอดปีโรบานปะอันลูกดิงใส่ใบใส่กระดาษแล้วคือรู้บานปะอังพิจารณาท่าบอกanh cầm tăng pe có một bàn tra thu pe có một bàn tra vì chúng ta đó tam xe đấy pin xe bay này nó không sung chìm bìa hỏi cho rằng mấy bàn gì pin hỏi là lúc mọi gì chỉ phải khi ông sung bị chạy trốn pin nó chỉ phía xa sang sạc cát hao thả pin phía xa bà lấy hao thả vi ná đo một camera phía xa không ai dưới hao thả cha bayนั้นคือยมส้มไปเชี่ยปนังอ้อยขโมยพิซาบอกปลายจูนออกโลกตรงบานเชียบ
So this instrument is called Japai And let me tell you two things. We go in Cambodia. There are many temples, and the Angkor Wat temple. We also see on the bas relief this instrument actually on the wall of those temples. So we believe that this instrument dated back. Its origin dated back to the Angkor time or in the history of Cambodia. I learned another story from my master that this instrument also dated back into the time that Buddha was trying to reach his enlightenment. At one period of time that he really wanted to speed up the process of his enlightenment, he did not have any meal. He did not eat any meal. And he became very skinny and very sick. And the king of Indra and the king of Brahma came to visit him and choosing this instrument. And this instrument has only two strings, but in that story, musical story, there are 3 strings. And the king of Indra wanted to tell Buddha 3 messages by starting to play, by tuning it at very high pitch and play it. And because of it is too high, the string just snapped. And he tuned another one with very low pitch, and then the sound is not good. And he tuned the 3rd string at the middle, and it sounds good. So the message he wanted, the god wanted to give to Buddha was that in Buddhism you have to walk in the middle. So that's what I learned from the master.
បើជារឿងជាបៃទៀតជាបៃហ្នឹងគឺមានបើគេធ្វើពីដើមខ្ញុំសូមជម្រាបពីដើមគឺច្រើនយកដើមរាំងធ្វើជាស្នូកសន្ទះវាយកដើមស្នាយដងយកកសាំងខ្ទង់អង្គក់គឺគេយកដើមធ្នង់ខ្ទង់យកឆ្អឹងដែលប្រគៀនខ្លះគេហៅថាជាយពធរនីតែខាងខ្ញុំហៅថាប្រគៀនគេយកអង្គោលក្លំអង្គោលបនួតឬស័យហើយខ្សែកាលពីដើមគេអត់ប្រើខ្សែពីលងខ្សែសរសៃនឹងទេគឺប្រើខ្សែសូត្រគេយកសូត្រសាច់យើងមកវិញហើយគេមានជួររូតវាឲ្យណែនឲ្យចូលធ្វើជាខ្សែប៉ុន្តែឥឡូវអត់ប្រើខ្សែសូត្រទេហើយដើមរាំងហ្នឹងក៏អត់ច្រើនយកដែរព្រោះវាធ្វើមិនកើតវាចេះតែស្គរលលក់រស់ធ្វើជាបៃនឹងមិនបានគេយកផ្ចឹករាំងវិញឥឡូវខ្ញុំជម្រាបប៉ុណ្ណឹងសិនឲ្យក្មួយវិសាលបកប្រែជូនអស់លោកជ្រាប
So traditionally, the different pieces, different parts of the chapai was made from different kind of wood, and he was trying to explain the name of those, and which I don't know how to say it in English. So I wish. And including like some of that made from the animal bones and different kinds of wood, and the string traditionally was made from silk that they really weaving it together, and there are some plastic that they try to mince it together to make it work. But now we are using nylon, so it's better now, easier. Thank you.
នឹងបន្តទៀតក៏នឹងជំរាបថាដែលខ្ទង់ឆ្អឹងនោះគឺវាមាន12ហើយដែលពនួតខ្សែវាត្រូវមានតែខ្សែ2ទេប៉ុន្តែជាចបៃឥឡូវមិនក៏បោះខ្ញុំនឹងមានពនួតនឹងដល់13គឺខ្សែ2មួយខ្សែឯកមួយខ្សែកដែលពនួតមួយទៀតសម្រាប់ដុតទៅខ្ទង់បើកាលណាវាមានលកុះมันអាចខ្ទង់នឹងធ្លាក់បាត់បានទេព្រោះមានខ្សែមួយគេចងជាប់ពីពនួតមកដែលខ្ទង់ទី12ហ្នឹងអានឹងសូមក្មួយវិសាលជំរាបអស់លោកទាំងនឹងទៀត
So the instrument has 12 fret, is it called? Yes, 12 of that. And you can see 3 string, but the string for performance only 2. The 3rd string here is actually to hold all the fret. So it's not used to make sound. So these 2 string is to make the sound. Thank you.
ឥឡូវជាបៃខ្ញុំបានជំរាបអស់លោកហើយក្នុងជាបៃនេះគឺប្រើបានភ្លេងការទី1ភ្លេងអរៈទី2ច្រៀងរឿងបុរាណទី3 mùi tiết mức phình ca phình ở đó ở chi riêng bà rán đôi khi miền họ thờ riêng bà rán xin được bông cái oi thờ riêng bà rán cứ chỉ phải chi riêng tôi mà ấy bật sân chia trong chi riêng soi slong su khong sập phía sắt rư căng cái trái cứ miền chỉ phải pí chỉ phải ba bảy ái chi riêng soi slong cái này có bàn tí bốn nhân dân chỉ lóng bật sân chia dương tí buôn dương trong đánh chia chẳng bạ ròm bông xa rồi văn ròm các bay có chỉ phải đòn vềทั้งai cái bàn này đôi chiều ròm bông xa rồi văn ròm các bay.
So this instrument is used in 4 different ways. One, it is performed as an instrument in the traditional wedding ensemble. Cambodia has several kinds of music ensemble. Traditional wedding, wedding music, worship of spirit music, which is called the healing music. Traditionally, when people get sick, they perform the music so that a witch doctor can get obsessed by a spirit who will tell them what they did wrong, and then in order for them to correct, and then they will get better. That is the traditional way of medication in Cambodia. And Panpiet classical music, that is the music to accompany the Cambodian classical dance or royal ballets, and Mahauri music, the music that is performed to entertain, to accompany some kind of banquet or reception. And this musical, Chapai, the musical instrument, is used for the traditional wedding music and the worship of spirit music, which is called Arya music. And also, when there is a singer like Master Kong Nai, the music, the Chapai is used to perform for storytelling. So there are a lot of ancient Cambodian folk tale that is told. And the last thing is that this is the instrument to perform thong for Cambodian social gathering, or I would call it Cambodian ballroom dancing. Usually we don't dance in the room, we dance under the tree, or we have like a table and a flower in the middle, and boys and girls dance around that. We have Romvong, which is called Romvong, that is circular dancing. We have Saravan, we have a lot of Cambodian popular dance that take place. And Chapai is one of the instruments to serve them. So maybe we ask for a question? Yeah.
Let's open it up if there are questions. Anyone, don't be shy.
I'll get some more of that.
Kong Nai questions. I have a question. What are some of the other instruments in the ensembles that are normally accompanying the Chapai?
តាមនៅក្នុងដែលឧបករណ៍ដទៃផ្សេងទៀតដែលលេងជាមួយចាប៉ីហ្នឹងដូចថាក្នុងវងភ្លេងការមានអីខ្លះហើយនៅក្នុងវងភ្លេងអរិយមានអីខ្លះ
បើសិនជាភ្លេងការយើងភ្លេងបុរាណវាមានទ្រខ្សែ3ជាប៉ីដងវែងហ្នឹងប៉ីអមានសេដៀវមានឈឹងវាមានប្រមាណមុខនោះមានទ្រខ្សែ3ជាប៉ីដងវែងសេដៀវប៉ីអប៉ីពកអីក៏គេលេងចូលនៅក្នុងភ្លេងបុរាណខ្មែរយើងបានដែរ
ចុះអរិយ
ក៏មិនខុសគ្នាវាមានសេដៀវក៏វាមានជាប៉ីហ្នឹងវាមានទ្រខ្សែ3ដែរដែលគេលេងប្រគំភ្លេងអរិយហើយមានស្គរមិញក៏ខ្ញុំលេងជំរាបក៏មានស្គរដែរដែលភ្លេងបុរាណហ្នឹងមានស្គរ2ឬ3អីនោះ
So in traditional wedding music or in Arab music, which is the worship of spirit music, accompanied with the Chapai, there are the 3-string fiddle is called Tro Khmer, that is the 3-string fiddle. They have Pay'o, which is a wind instrument, and also they have Sadil, which is a monologue, a 1-string instrument, and they also have drums, the goblet, small goblets to accompany that.
Sally, could you ask the master about, he talked about storytelling, and I know that there's a long history of political satire and commentary, and I'm wondering if you could give a little bit of a history about the function of that role in Cambodian society and perhaps the function of that role in contemporary Cambodian society.
จะไปดาวตัวในตีในโครงการนิเตียนเรื่องเหมือนจังหวัดตาก ในปีครั้งการนิเตียนเรื่องนั้นก็มันไม่ก็นิเตียนเรื่องโบราณนี่ก็นิยายอย่างคือการอบรมสังคมหรือก็ริคนสังคมป้องได้หรือตาตรอมไว้กับเถื่อก็เป็นการป้องได้นั่นคือที่เอาไว้ในจมุกนี้เราจะไปจำปีสมัยโบราณมาอันแล้วจังได้เต้หรือก็ยังอาจริคนสังคมไอ้ริมุนจังได้เต้ตาหรือก็โดยที่นี่หรือก็ข้อนี้ประข้อเขายังไม่โดยยังไม่
อันนี้ขยมกันในสมเฉมเรียบถาจะไปนังอายมันเม้นชีเรียงถึงเรื่องโบราณเต้โดยขโมยพิสาวบาสูยังชีเรียงปีอบรมกับบ้านเด็กการิคนโดยท่าสมก็มาหรือก็บกวนหน้าเด็กทั่วไว้มวยมันซ้อมก็จะไปนังอายชีเรียงตัวบานได้
นั่นปะปีมนเนี่ยหรือก่อนแล้วจังได้
ปีมนก็ช่างแล้วนั่นก็ช่างได้
So yes, it's not only about stories. Telling of the old folk tale, it can be used to actually tell story and with educational messages to people in the society, and also to critique people, to critique some kind of activity in the society that is wrong, and to make people see that is a mistake so that they can change it, they make a change. And it was done in the past and is still practiced now at the present time.
บ้านได้พลเมียนภาษาสูขยมกาโดยที่บุคคลหน้ามวยได้ทั่วอ้อยข้อหลกนองสังคมก็จะไปนังอายอบรมหรือปัญญาหรือริกุลใบเชี่ยถ้าทั่วนี้มันซ้อมทั่วนี้มันหล่อทั่วนี้นอมอ้อยสังคมอบเพิ่มก็มันเมียนดังปีดาวเดียวแล้วนั่นก็ยังอาชีพเรื่องจังบานได้ไปเชี่ยก่อนยังเรียบก่อนไปเชี่ย
So it's not only the practice in the past, it's also a practice now that a singer can critique or can try to educate someone who commit something wrong in the society.
Yeah, Jane, in Western music, tempo, we spend a lot of time to keep tunes in the same tempo. Can you talk about in Cambodian music how speeding up or slowing down tempo, how that works in the music as opposed to keeping steady time?
ในขนมดนตรีแบบประจำประเทศดนตรีสมัยกิมินบอดเพลงกิมินอัลเพลงยังกิมินละเบือนเพลงใหญ่ตองโป้แล้วนะแต่ต้องอุปกรณ์โบราณด้วยยืนยังละเบือนนั้นยังไม่ได้กำหนดโดยนักเพลงตัวกันหมดแล้วหรือก็ยังไม่ได้หรือก็หลุดตาจำละเบือนแบบนั้นหรือก็มินเพลเลื่อนมินเพลยืดยังไม่ได้โปรเกลิ่งดำนอเพลงยังกินดังละเบือนระยะเพลจุดตายังไม่ได้
เรื่องจะไปขยมเวออดเมียนนอดเพลงเมียนได้ท่าได้ขยมเรียนปีลูกครูขยมกดปัญญวลปัญมานเอาขยมจำบอดได้กดปัญญวลปรับขยมคือทัวตามนั้นกดอดเมียนปรับท่าที่เพื่อเมียนนอดเพลงยังบอกเมียนไม่อย่างนั้นกดอดบานปัญญวลขยมที่ก็ท่าผู้จะไปยืมตั้งปิดโตรตั้งปิดไอ้ดาวปิดจำนวนนั้นว่าขมีนนั่นก็โอนขมีนนอดบังหายที่เขาจะบอกอดบังหายให้ไอ้ก็ขยมทัวบ้านได้ลูกครูกดปัญญวลเอาขยมจับตรงยังไม่บอดนั่งไว้ยังไม่คือกดอย่างปรับตัวเฮ้ยดอกขยมเมียนกาอารมณ์บอกขยมประดับจบได้กดอย่างปรับเฮ้ยได้ขยมยมมาเรียวตรงนั้นเกยตามสำเร็จได้ขยมยังไม่ได้ทาขยมมือมันเคยคือขยมตัดติงมอดเอาจำบอดพัดเชียนึงมวยให้ขยมเรียวตรงเอาเต้าตามสำเร็จได้ขยมบานจำปีครูลูกครูขยมปราบบอดพัดเชียเวกิได้เจ็ดสำเร็จเจ็ดบอดเลยเจ็ดขยมตัดติงจำให้ยังไม่เรียวตรงตามนั่งอดเมียนนอดเพลงบางไฮแถวเมียนหรือเบือนเมียนไอ้อย่างแม่นั่งอดเมียนเนี่ยนั่งจะไปขยม
ลูกตาเลี้ยเบือนแบบปันนังลูกตาจำถ่ายละเบือนปันนังคือเลี้ยปันนังตลอด
บ้าเฮ้ยบ่ยังช่องเอาหยอบหรือช่องเอาเลื่อนเชียงนั่งอันนั้นกระนั้นยังพอดูได้ท่าเอาเลื่อนเชียงนั่งที่เจ้าแต่ช่องเวอร์คือเอาเวอร์เชียงนั่งที่เจ้านั่งตามเด็กติดจัดยังช่องนี้โปรเวบางสิ่งยังเล่นจมูกเพลงอย่างระจมูกเพลงนั่นก็หาทำแบบเมียนสมัยชิคกี้พายคือเวลาเล่นอย่างสตรอตามคนเดียวบ่ยังมันไอ้อย่างนั้นช่องเวอร์กับบ้านช่องอ้อยหยอบกับบ้านอันนั้นใส่ติดจัดยังช่องวิ่งมา
So actually understand nothing about tempo. And I never study any note. It's a complete oral tradition. I cannot see, so this is how I started it. My master will teach me, and he will start by telling me, literally telling me by using mouse, like a line of the music. And then I will remember that line. When I try, I don't play the instrument yet, but I just remember that line. And then when I really remember that line correctly, he moved to the second line until I finish that song. So I first started by learning the song by making my own voice. And there are other students that the master will help with the fingering and things like that. But because I cannot see, and it's also not usually that someone who cannot see study that. So, and it always slow down the process of teaching. So I learned that, and then I go alone somewhere and work on this and try to find where that it sound like this. And that's how I learn all those music. So it's a complete oral tradition. And when you talk about the tempo, yes, if people may say that let's get a bit quicker, then I can just speed up. And I slow down, depending on, so it's not really a tempo something. So that's how we do it.
I have a very serious question. I understand that the master doesn't answer, but I'm interested in understanding whether the master still talks about the terrible times of the Khmer Rouge, but more importantly, what did his music mean to him in that time, for his spirit, for his dreams, for his soul?
ចឹងលោកតាប្រហែលជាលោកតាធ្លាប់ប្រើចបៃនិទានរឿងអំពីសម័យពលពតអីប្រហែលជាធ្លាប់និទានហើយមិនចឹងទេធ្លាប់ប៉ុន្តែគាត់ចង់សួរថាតើលោកតាកាលសម័យហ្នឹងតើលោកតាភ្លេងចបៃដល់កាលនោះលោកតាបានលេងទេមិនចឹងតែតើតន្ត្រីហ្នឹងមាននៅយ៉ាងម៉េចសម្រាប់ជីវិតរបស់លោកតាជាផ្ទាល់ខ្លួនលោកតាថាតើវាផ្ដល់នៅវាធ្វើលោកតាបាត់ស្មារតីដែរទេដែលលោកតាអត់បានលេងតន្ត្រីហ្នឹងឬក៏វាធ្វើឲ្យលោកតាមានអារម្មណ៍បែបនេះដែរជាអារម្មណ៍ផ្ទាល់ខ្លួនរបស់លោកតាតាក់ទងទៅនឹងតន្ត្រីហ្នឹងតែម្ដងជាការគិតផ្ទាល់ខ្លួនរបស់លោកតាតាក់ទងនឹងតន្ត្រីហ្នឹងតែម្ដង
អានេះខ្ញុំសូមជម្រាបកាលសម័យពលពតមិនទាន់បាយរួមគេឲ្យខ្ញុំច្រៀងដល់ចូលមកបាយរួមគឺគេឈប់ឲ្យច្រៀងដល់ឈប់ឲ្យច្រៀងខ្ញុំសូមជម្រាបកាលហ្នឹងខ្ញុំនឹកឃើញថាខ្ញុំមិនអាចបានចាប់អាជីពជាចបៃនឹងតទៅទៀតទេព្រោះគេលេងឲ្យខ្ញុំច្រៀងហើយគេឲ្យខ្ញុំវាយជក់ថ្នោតដើម្បីឲ្យតាវិញខ្សែគោខ្សែក្របីអញ្ចឹងអារម្មណ៍ខ្ញុំពេលហ្នឹងថាបើចឹងចបៃឲ្យខ្ញុំគឺអស់បានជួបគ្នាអស់បានធ្វើដំណើរជាមួយចបៃច្រៀងជាមួយចបៃទៅទៀតហើយសង្ឃឹមថាសេចក្តីស្លាប់នៅថ្ងៃអនាគតខាងមុខដល់ខ្លីព្រោះប្អូនខ្ញុំគេយកទៅសម្លាប់
So during the Khmer Rouge, okay, so during the Khmer Rouge, there's period that moving from at first people still can eat at home. They have their own food and they eat, and then moving into a bit of more serious as the time goes on. It moved into a serious situation that they established the share space and a collective eating that everyone eat in the village eat on at only one space with limited number of rice and and when at first time that we can eat at home, I still can play my instrument. But then when they create this share space, they prohibited me from playing the instrument. And it was also the time that I just lost my brother who used to be with me and guiding me because I cannot see, and I was hopeless. And then the fact that I cannot play my instrument anymore was an adding misery and an added hopelessness that I feel at that time that death is just awaiting me.
បាទអានេះថែមនៅក្នុងចបៃនឹងដែរដល់ពេលដែលខ្ញុំបានចាប់ចបៃនឹងឡើងវិញនៅក្នុងឆ្នាំ1979ដែលរំដោះបានពីពលពតបានខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាវាចឹងចបៃខ្ញុំហើយនឹងខ្ញុំគឺថ្ងៃអនាគតមិនអាចបែកធ្លាយពីគ្នាបានព្រោះឆ្លងផុតនៅហៅថាវាលពិឃាតសម័យពលពតនៅក្នុងចិត្តខ្ញុំមានការរំភើបសប្បាយរីករាយនៅក្នុងឆ្នាំ1979
So, in spite of the hopelessness, I managed to survive the regime. And in 1979, the country was liberated. I was so hopeful again because I will have chance to touch the instrument again.
អានឹងខ្ញុំសូមជម្រាបបន្តិចទៀតដែលខ្ញុំមានភពវាសនាបានមកនៅភ្នំពេញនេះគឺមុនដំបូងប្រឡងពីស្រុកប្រឡងជាបៃស្រុកត្រូវបានលេខ1ប្រឡងខេត្តក៏បានលេខ1ដល់មកប្រឡងនៅភ្នំពេញយើងក៏ខ្ញុំបានចំណាប់ថ្នាក់លេខ1ទៀតក៏ក្រសួងវប្បធម៌ឲ្យខ្ញុំមកធ្វើការប្រចាំនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាយើងអានឹងព្រះជម្រាបគាត់
So then I keep on playing this instrument and I just went to various competition from the village level to the province level and then I win the nationwide competition and I got a job at the Ministry of Culture and Fine Arts in Phnom Penh.
ខ្ញុំសូមជម្រាបបន្តិចទៀតដើម្បីអស់សេចក្តីបានមកនៅភ្នំពេញនេះខ្ញុំបានទៅសម្ដែងប្រទេសមាន11ប្រទេសមាន11ប្រទេសវាមានប្រទេសបារាំងមានប្រទេសថៃមានប្រទេសវៀតណាមប្រទេសនីសេរីយ៉ាប្រទេសអាមេរិកប្រទេសអង់គ្លេសអូស្ត្រាលីញូហ្សេឡង់ជប៉ុន basic
And since then I have performed in 11 different countries including countries in Europe including countries in Asia as well. ចឹងតើទិញបន្ត្រីមានន័យសម្រាប់ជីវិតលោកតាយ៉ាងដូចម្ដេចទៅរហូតដល់ពេលនេះ
ខ្ញុំសូមជម្រាបជីវិតរបស់ខ្ញុំបានជាបៃនឹងព្រោះអស់លោកក៏ជ្រាបស្រាប់ហើយព្រោះខ្ញុំពីការភ្នែកមិនអាចធ្វើអីបានគឺមានជាបៃតាំងពីមុនពលពតវផ្អានៅក្នុងពលពតទេដែលអត់បានសម្ដែងដែលខ្ញុំចិញ្ចឹមកូនរបស់ខ្ញុំ10ក៏ដោយសារជាបៃហ្នឹងរហូតដែលខ្ញុំបានទៅស្គាល់ប្រទេសទាំង11ក៏ដោយសារជាបៃបើអត់មានជាបៃហ្នឹងក៏អត់បានទៅដែរបានខ្ញុំថាជាបៃនេះជាសម្រាប់ដោះស្រាយនៅជីវភាពជីវិតរបស់ខ្ញុំ
So this instrument is so meaningful to me. You know, I cannot see, and I feel very idle if I don't do this. And I chose not to be idle. I choose not to be useless. So I do something, and something that I can do is playing this instrument chapai. And because of that, you know, I have 10 children, and I feed them. I bring them up, and because of this, I can travel to different countries. 11 countries, different countries in different continents because of this. So it's my life now. ขอบคุณលោកតា
I was wondering if you could comment on what originally drew him to music and that instrument in particular. I don't know if there was a specific.
តើមិនបានជាជ្រើសរើសជាធ្វើជាដាក់ភ្លេងឲ្យលេងយប៉ៃកាលនោះមានប្រវត្តិយ៉ាងម៉េចលោកតាស្រឡាញ់
ព្រោះខ្ញុំពីការភ្នែកទាំងពីអាយុ4ឆ្នាំដោយរោគអត់ធំដល់ពេលខ្ញុំដឹងសេចក្តីខ្ញុំពិចារណានឹកឃើញថាមិនដឹងបានអ្វីដោះស្រាយជីវិតរបស់ពួកខ្ញុំវាស្រឡាញ់ខាងទម្រង់ជាបៃអានឹងទី1
ធ្លាប់លើពីមុនមកបានតើ
ធ្លាប់ស្ដាប់ព្រោះជាអាយុខ្ញុំ7ឆ្នាំមានចម្រៀងជាបៃគេធ្វើបន់គេជួលមកច្រៀងនៅភូមិខ្ញុំអោយមកដៃខ្ញុំដឹកដៃទៅស្ដាប់គាត់ច្រៀងដល់ស្ដាប់ច្រៀងវាមានការអារម្មណ៍ដឹកដាមដោះជួបនៅក្នុងជាបៃហ្នឹងអានឹងទី1ហើយចុះឥឡូវយើងចង់លេងល្ខោនលេងយីគេក៏ទៅអត់កើតព្រោះយើងពីការភ្នែកអញ្ចឹងមានជាបៃនេះហើយដែលយើងច្រៀងម្នាក់ឯងក៏បានឆ្លើយឆ្លងគ្នាក៏បាន
So I became blind when I was 4 years old because of chicken pox that was in the 1940s. And so and when I was 7 years old, there is like a festivity in the village, and they always have musicians coming to perform and tell story. I asked my mother to hand guide me to listen to Japai. I would love to just listen to the arts. And there are also other form of art like the Yike theater, and there are Pasat theater, which is other form of art in Cambodia. And then I just fall in love with the art. I just want to do something in the art. And one thing I feel I can do is chapai, because I can tell story. I don't have to move around. So this is just the most logical thing to do. And it's something that I love. So that's how I ended up doing this.
Hi, how are you? I'm a K-pop player, Chinese root. Also, it's a family of Dubai. We have in tradition we have two styles: lyrical style, martial style. I just want to ask Master Kenai, do you in your music, in Cambodian music, do you have those two styles? Could you explain what's differences or what's special?
នៅក្នុងគាត់ជាអ្នកលេងហ្គីតាដែរហើយគាត់ថាមានឧបករណ៍នៅចិនក៏គេមានលក្ខណៈស្តៀងជាប្រពៃហ្នឹងដែរព្រោះធម្មតាអាស៊ីដូចគ្នាតែមានអត្តពលឆ្លងគ្នាទៅវិញទៅមកប៉ុន្តែគេថា still នៅនោះគេមានវិធីសាស្ត្រលេងមកគេហៅ still ឬក៏របៀបនៃការលេងផ្លូវនៃការលេងអីចឹងពីរមានពីរផ្សេងគ្នាតែអ្នកភ្លេងខ្លះគេជ្រើសរើសលេងបែបហ្នឹងតែនៅក្នុងចបៃហ្នឹងតើអ្នកភ្លេងផ្សេងគ្នាឬក៏គ្រូផ្សេងគ្នាឬក៏ភូមិភាគផ្សេងគ្នាហ្នឹងមាន still នៅក្នុងរបៀបក្នុងការលេងខុសគ្នាដែរទេ
នេះខ្ញុំសូមជម្រាបជាបៃវាមានខុស still គ្នាដែលលោកគ្រូដូចជាលោកគ្រូប្រាឈួនលោកគ្រូចង្គម8លោកគ្រូវហាសែនវហាសិនគឺដូចគ្នាដល់មកលោកគ្រូពូថៅដៃលោកគ្រូម៉មសុនលោកគ្រូផ្សេងពីនឹងទៀតគឺខុសគ្នាវាមាន still ពីរខុសគ្នាលោកគ្រូពូថៅដៃផ្សេងលោកគ្រូចង្គម8ប្រាឈួនផ្សេងហើយខ្ញុំចរន្តយកតាមលោកគ្រូចង្គម8និងលោកគ្រូប្រាឈួន
ហើយខុសគ្នាយ៉ាងម៉េចដែរ
ខុសបទផាត់ជ័យហ្នឹងក៏វាមានផាត់ជ័យដូចគ្នាប៉ុន្តែកេះទៅតាបថៅដៃគាត់ជាដំណើរគាត់ផ្សេងមិនដូចបោះបងប្រាឈួនមិនដូចបោះតាចង្គម8បោះតាចង្គម8បងប្រាឈួនក៏មិនដូចផាត់ជ័យដូចគ្នាក៏ប៉ុនដេញក៏មិនដូចតាបថៅដៃ
គឺកេះញាប់ជាងឬក៏ណោតច្រើនជាង
វាមានអានឹងចង់បញ្ជាក់គឺបងប្រាឈួនតាចង្គម8ឧទាហរណ៍វាគ្រប់ពាក្យដូចថាវាមាន10ម៉ាត់អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំឧទាហរណ៍ពាក្យនោះវាមាន10ម៉ាត់គឺមានគ្រប់ទាំង10ម៉ាត់ដែលលោកគ្រូតាបថៅដៃជួនណាបទគាត់ផាត់ជាហ្នឹងគាត់ច្រៀងគាត់មានតែ3ម៉ាត់ក៏មាន5ម៉ាត់ក៏មានអានេះខ្ញុំសូមឧទាហរណ៍អញ្ចឹង7ម៉ាត់ក៏មានមកអត់បានគ្រប់ទាំង10
Okay, what I learned from, I understand that there are like a lot of important Japai master in the country when I studied it when I was young. And they have, what I know that they have two styles of performance as well. And it's not, and it's also, it is taught through like the line of, you are the line of this master, you are taught this way, you are line of the other master, you're taught this way. And the line, his line that he learned from this master, the density of the note is higher, is more frequent. And the other line is less. He's talking about, for example, like there is a verse with 10 syllables. And in storytelling, he has 10 syllables of word to tell the story. It's going to be 10 notes that hit one of the syllables. But the other line may have just 5 notes for the 10 syllables or 8 notes for the 10 syllables. So the density of the note is different.
I wanted to ask about the role of composing in Cambodian music. So I understand that a master would play compositions he learned from his master. Would a master create his own compositions? Would other people play his compositions? Would he play compositions written by other contemporaries of his?
ចឹងលោកតារបៀបនៃការលេងហ្នឹងលោកតាដែរនិពន្ធបទខ្លួនឯងទេលេងឬក៏យ៉ាងម៉េចដែរឬក៏លេងតែបទដែលបុរាណបុព្វបុរសយើងបង្កើតបទហ្នឹងហើយ
មានខ្លះដែលខ្ញុំនិពន្ធដោយខ្លួនឯងហើយមានខ្លះយើងច្រៀងទៅតាមបុព្វបុរសដែលគេបានគេហៅថានិពន្ធចងក្រងទុក
តែលោកតានិពន្ធពាក្យបរោច្រៀងឬក៏និពន្ធជាបទភ្លេងទៅម្ដង
អត់ទេខ្ញុំបាននិពន្ធខាងបរោច្រៀងទេជាកាបទេបាទ
ហើយបើនឹងភ្លេង
ភ្លេងគឺនៅតាមបុព្វបុរសដូចថា
មានតែលេងបទនិពន្ធថ្មីទេ
បាទ
ដែលលេងបទនិពន្ធថ្មីនៅក្នុងចបៃទេ
ដែលខាងច្រៀង
ខាងចុះក៏ភ្លេងតែម្ដង
ភ្លេងខ្ញុំអត់បាននិពន្ធទេមានបានដូចយើងនិពន្ធខាងច្រៀងដូចថាឥឡូវយើងអប់រំដែរប៉ុន្តែថ្មីគាត់ និយាយផ្សេងយើងគិតគំនិតរបស់ខ្លួនយើងចង់និពន្ធបទមួយនៅក្នុងបច្ចុប្បន្នហ្នឹង
So I always perform using all the existing music repertoire created by the ancestor. The lyric that I use, I create new lyric. I also learn the old lyrics and the old story, but also create new story. I also create new educational messages according to the current time. But the music I play, I perform it from audio. But just to add to that, of course, Master Kong Nai just chose to play that way because he's more like a story narrator, things like that. But there have been composers who compose new music to the Chapai as well, like Dr. Humsapi, who is one of the important composers in Cambodia, commissioned by Cambodian Living Art, compose music for Every Elephant Suite, and there are new composition for the Chapai as well.
លោកគ្រូខ្ញុំចារីនីទេសុខសប្បាយ
បាទសុខសប្បាយ
Sal, could you ask Lakru, when I watch audiences in Cambodia, they're always laughing unless it's an old ballad. They laugh a lot, and I know they laugh because not only he makes things up right on the spot, very cleverly, but always it rhymes. Everything has to rhyme. And what I don't understand, how do you learn this, or how do you teach it? And when I've gone to classes for some students he has for 6 years, they still don't do that. How many years does it take?
ខ្ញុំគាត់តាគេសួរថានៅពេលដែលគាត់ឃើញលោកតាសម្ដែងមុខទស្សនិកជនខ្មែរសើចហ្នឹងមិនមែនថាសើចពាក្យកប្លែងដែលលោកតាបកកើតសាច់រឿងនិយាយព្រាមៗគេសើចទេប៉ុន្តែមិនទៅហ្នឹងគឺជួនហ្នឹងចំណាប់ចុងជួនហ្នឹងគឺខ្ពស់មែនទែនបើថានិយាយលោកតានិយាយ10ម៉ាត់ហ្នឹងជួន8ម៉ាត់ក៏បានជួនហើយពាក្យជួនហ្នឹងស្អីក៏នឹកឃើញចេញមកដែរធ្វើមិនបានចេញអញ្ចឹងមកព្រោះអីឃើញបង្រៀនកូនសិស្សខ្លះ6 7ឆ្នាំមើលទៅអត់ចេញបានពាក់កណ្ដាលឬក៏មកកណាត់ហ្នឹងលោកតារៀនយ៉ាងម៉េចទៅអានេះខ្ញុំសូមជម្រាបអង្កលដែលខ្ញុំចាក់រៀនដំបូងពីលោកគ្រូខ្ញុំមកខ្ញុំក៏ជូនអត់បានដែរជារឿងប្រហែលជាកន្លះម៉ោងត្រូវអស់ជូនបានខ្ញុំសួរលោកគ្រូខ្ញុំគាត់ថាអញ្ចឹងព្រោះលោកគ្រូនឹងថារបស់ខ្ញុំគាត់ថាក្មួយឯងត្រូវទិញសភៅដែលមានកំណាត់ដែលគេតែងជាការផោយទៅទិញឲ្យបានច្រើនដល់ទៅទិញឲ្យបានច្រើនគឺក្មួយត្រូវបាយឲ្យគឺក្មួយចង់និយាយអំពីអីគឺត្រូវចេញពីក្នុងពុះបានមកហ្នឹងដែលយើងរៀនកាប់បានច្រើនគាត់បញ្យល់អញ្ចឹងហើយដល់ខ្ញុំទិញកាប់ហ្នឹងមករៀនតាមគាត់ដល់រួចពីហ្នឹងគឺខ្ញុំចាក់ជូនបានឥឡូវដែលសិស្សរៀនខ្ញុំនិយាយថាប្រហែលក្មួយវិសាលថាខ្លះមិនទាន់បានមកកណាត់ផងខ្ញុំបញ្យល់ដែរថាបើចាក់ជូនបានដល់ខំទៅទិញកាប់ហ្នឹងឲ្យច្រើនសុំទោសតាស្មាតទោសតាចុះលោកតាដល់ពេលទិញកាប់នេះលោកតាអត់បានមើលកំណាប់នឹងឃើញបងអត់បានប៉ុន្តែមានបងមានប្អូនមានមីមានប្រហែលថាពូឲ្យតែជាអក្សរឲ្យគេអានឲ្យស្ដាប់អានឹងខ្ញុំឲ្យតែទិញចាំបាន So when I was young, I learned it from my master. I start singing, and like half an hour later, that I ran out of word. I ran out of rhyming word to say. So it's always hard. So I asked my master, who is actually my uncle, and he say, you just try to learn the poetry, the poem as much as you can. So just try to get the book and learn it. So I get a lot of books, and then my relative, my brother, my sister, my cousin read them to me. And they read them to me, and I try to memorize it, and a lot, again and again and again and again, and I just develop this rhyming vocabulary.
Could we hear some more music? Maybe with your students? Would you like to teach us a line?
ចឹងលោកតាចង់ឲ្យលោកតាបង្ហាញបទអីមួយតែបង្ហាញតែមក clear បានហើយដើម្បីឲ្យកូនសិស្សគេនេះគេធ្វើបទហ្នឹងដែរតាមដោយការដែលលោកគ្រូរបស់លោកតាបង្រៀនលោកតាអញ្ចឹងលោកតាយល់ទេមិនភាសាទៀតចង់និយាយថាលោកតាលេងឧបករណ៍លេងភ្លេងលោកតាលេងភ្លេងតែកុំលេងមកចប់លេងតែមក clear លេងមក clear អញ្ចឹងទៅហើយឈប់តាមហ្នឹងហើយឲ្យគេធ្វើតាមលោកតាឲ្យដូចកន្លែងហ្នឹងមានអ្នកភ្លេងដែលជាកូនសិស្សនេះគេចង់រៀនពីលោកតាដូចលោកតារៀនពីលោកគ្រូលោកតាមកចឹងអាចធ្វើចឹងបានលោកតាបានដែរបាទអានេះជារឿងជាបៃផងជារឿងផងប៉ុន្តែមិនវែងទេបន្តិចយ៉ាងម៉េចអត់ទេយកតែភ្លេងទេយកតែភ្លេងទេតែភ្លេងទេបាទប៉ុន្តែសុំតែមក clear សិន
You want to
มาเคลียร์จะไปมาเคลียร์อัดเมียนชีเรียมเนี่ย
អត់មានច្រៀងទេ
บาจังบาน เคลียร์ปนังนะ
Too hard, too hard.
ពិបាកពេក
เชื่อแล้วบอกใครเชื่อนั่นสิ
ចឹងឲ្យមានអីដែលផ្លូវកុំឲ្យពិបាកផ្លូវទៅឲ្យខ្លីជាងនឹងតិចបានទេ
อันนี้ចាប់ផ្ដើមដូចខ្ញុំចាប់ផ្ដើមរៀនពីគ្រូខ្ញុំគាត់ទៅឲ្យខ្ញុំទៅទីបានណា
បាទ
អ្នកប៉ុណ្ណឹង
So this is how I learned from my master សូមម្ដងទៀតលោកតា
Everybody, instruments out, but stay in the audience for now.
អញ្ចឹងសូមម្ដងទៀតហើយចាំមើលគេធ្វើតាមលោកតាសូមគុំតោះអាលោកតា
អានឹងខ្លីណា
បាទគុំតោះអាលោកតា So ready
Give me a second.
សូមមកផ្លែលោកតា
បាទ
មើលគេដកដាវមកសិនគេដកមានកូនសិស្សគេច្រើនតែមានហ្គីតាមានសាក់សូហ្វូមានហ្គីតាមានសាក់សូហ្វូមានអីគេធ្វើតាមលោកតាសាក់
បាទแล้วគាត់រៀបឲ្យចាំខ្ញុំតែមកសាទៀត
He's in F sharp.
សូមមកក្លៀម
បាទ
ដើម្បីបង្រៀនកូនចាស់
ខ្លីទេណាបាទ
លោកតា សូមមកក្លៀមទៀតលោកតា
ឃ្លៀបតយនៅឃ្លៀហ្នឹងអត់ដែរ
ក្លៀមបន្ត
ចឹងណា នេះបន្ត
សូមបន្តទៀតតា
បន្តទៀតឥឡូវยังไม่ได้หรอก
សូមចែកអស់មក
អត់អីទេបាទ ខ្ញុំសុំម្ដងទៀតក៏មក
លោកតាបាច់លេងយឺតទេលេងធម្មតាក៏បានដែរ
មិនតទៀតមិនគួរវិសាល
កន្លែងចុងក្រោយវិញតែកន្លែងចុងក្រោយតែខ្លីបានទេតា
ហ៎
កន្លែងចុងក្រោយមិញប៉ុន្តែមកខ្លីបន្តិចបានក្នុងគុំវែងហើយចុងក្រោយមិញ
អានោះក៏អត់គាត់អត់ឃ្លៀវាតែមិន
បាទបាទ
ទីរ៉ារ៉ារ៉ារ៉ារ៉ារ៉ារ៉ារ៉ារ៉ាអូរ៉ារ៉ារ៉ារ៉ារ៉ារ៉ារ៉ាបាន
សូមមកឃ្លៀបន្តពីនឹងទៀតតែខ្លីបន្តហ្មងបាច់ថាណាលោកអាកន្លែងបន្តហ្នឹង
អានឹងជុំឥឡូវក៏បំមិនចាប់ពីដើមខ្ញុំរੂអត់ឃើញដែរសុំឥឡូវជាមួយអានេះមិនបែកតែចាំហើយមិនបែកចាំ
ក
អាហ្នឹងមិនទាន់ចប់វិញទៀត
A bit more.
Đấy. Lúcខ្ញុំដែរនេះមកឈប់ហើយឲ្យគាត់ធ្វើតាមដូចពួកខ្ញុំបត់ផាត់ជាដដែលទេ Bên phim chọn oi nè ôn chấp đi đào mới mình mới cứ thổi tụi ngó hết bên rồi.
He's asking if you remember the first part, the beginning of it. Like, can you try again? Okay. Chui thua một điểm.
Ra 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 đi ra 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 đi ra 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 Ani betul. Di ra 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 đi đó ra 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 đi ra 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 đi ra 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 chào ơi. Không biết vì sao là khi ông để sắp đắp để con vừa tới để prom cái này chẳng đôi khi vừa ruột nó khi ông có sắp bay sẽ đâu là mình tao prom cái này á.
So he said you guys did a good job. It's so beautiful, so excited, impressed by that.
Would he sing and play Future of Cambodia?
Chẳng ngờ lúc ta bọt anh cốt Campuchia đó.
Má.
Anh cốt Campuchia. Để lúc ta anh đi tiền ở Bì Rương ở Cổ Play nhưng mà đã bọt anh cốt Campuchia nữa.
Mà. Úp có play khmer miền tràn mục riệp chom đặt tục pro mồ Padoma. Riêng rằm đánh đom cung cột plóng cư dương chạy xăm tớp bị ruộng. Khi ông bát xôm lớp muốc ạt thị bài ơi riêng rọc bọ sài bằng riêng cho mông. Krương đánh krương đom plom cột cú mình toan chấm pu tha pleng ao ấy miền pleng phân biết niên ốp có chừng nắng sông phố rồi niết tay bay cuồng vùng tôi thum năng sẽ coi chơi hay thêm sẽ lay nặng nó mộtนิยมเลงบนปุตตศาสนากทันบนกาตามภูมิสระกาพิธีบ ួងបនសំរន់ទុកសំសេចក្តីសុខសពបែបយ៉ាងអីអើយសំសេចក្តីសុខសពបែបយ៉ាង
Well, so thank you, Kong Nai, and thanks for our students and faculty who are game. But now we're going to take it to the next level. Jane Ira Bloom, our faculty member and renowned soprano saxophonist, band leader, and composer, has written some music to accompany a song on Kong Nai's CD called The Future of Cambodia. So since we're a school of jazz, that means we're a school of improvisation. We're going to try something here. So I'd like to invite the musicians, the students who brought their instruments up, please come up on stage.
លោកខ្មែរខ្សែ3និងខ្សែឌីវសម្រាប់ស្រាប់ស៊ីឌីវបត់បំពេអ្វីម្លេះទេនៅដោយស្រុកគេនឹកស្រុកឯងពួនគ្រឿងឧបករណ៍ភ្លេងក៏លុយបៃរបាំស្រីស្រីដែលសំដែងក៏វាយព្រះរាជាលើវាល្វែងប្រាសាទគេនទុយគេនធំរអននេះតងឈឹងស្គរដៃលងស្គររំម្នេះចំណែកឧបករណ៍ប្រលេងទី5គឺភ្លេងឆៃយ៉ាំដំរួមគ្នាសម្រាប់កំដរបននានាទូទាំងគំពិជាប្រើគ្រប់ស្រុកឬបនផ្កាហែទៀនវัวសាហែតាំងតុកកើវេគួងកងម៉ងមួយនាំមុខទីទុកស្គរ4រូបទួនគ្នាអីអើយទីទុកស្គរ4រូបទួនគ្នា
hearing like when they were playing something and he related to them. something simple that's just sitting in F sharp. So you got it? You got it?
គឺនៅបង្ហាញថាស្ដាប់មកខ្លួនដង
បាទ
Well, it's a little interesting.
Okay. All right.
Make something up.
All right.
you.